Are you an aggressive manager and want to get ahead of the curve? Do you want to dodge those picks that are highly owned? Well, today I break down the top 20 for me, my top 20 players that are under 10% owned in the game that you should be thinking about potentially including in your game week 1 team instead of those highly owned assets. Without further ado, you know what you need to do. Smash a like on the video. Comment with players you like out of these top 20 and whether you agree with the order I've put them in. And if you haven't already smashed that subscribe button, please consider doing so. And with that being all said, let's get into it. Number 20 and number 19, and look, no one is talking about Lenny Yoro at all. In fact, what we have learned from Manchester United in pre-season is I think that he is a guaranteed walk-up starter every single week. I can't believe he's actually owned by 1.2% of the competition. He only did have the 12 starts last year, but it was his first year in Manchester. He's going to be settled, and he has literally been playing in every preseason game. I've loved what I've seen. I think the Man United defence looks a hell of a lot better when he is on the field. And as long as he stays fit, I think he's going to be starting every single week. Now, Dorgu was the other one I was looking at here. He is definitely more attacking. I just have a feeling that Yoro is going to be good for bonus points, especially when Man United keep a clean sheet this year. His defensive contributions per 90 were 7.21 in the limited amount of minutes he did play in the Premier League last year. But I just have a sneaky suspicion that this man is going to get the job done at the business end of the season. So for that reason, I think you're probably, if you want a 4.5 million defender, going to play every week. Yes, the fixtures aren't overly good for Man United to start the season, but he's definitely someone that you should be looking at. Then I've got a real wild card, Matheus Nunes. Now, he came on in the second half of Manchester City's game, in case anyone was wondering. He didn't start, and it was hard to tell whether it was the second half team that Pep's going to prefer in game week 1 or the first half team, because literally, I think the second half team did a lot better than the first half team, but I just think he's really good. I know he only played 19 starts last year. 19 out of 38. That's 1 every 2 games. But the good news is that when he didn't start, he came off the bench once. So as long as you've got good bench cover, he is a really good option. Now, FPL Nightmare sold it really well, and I'm not going to steal his thunder because he did such a good job of... He actually had my idea, but he got it out there first. So well done to him. I just think he's amazing. When you look at the stats, 1 goal, 7 assists from 19 starts. He would have had 9 clean sheets in the games that he played last season as well. Add those points on as well. He was on FPL Nightmare, thank you very much. 108 points from his 19 games he would have got with the clean sheets and potential bonus last year. That's half a season, over 100 points. I think he could be anything. If he can somehow become the first choice right back, which I think there is a good chance with the way Manchester City started and the fitness of some players, he could be an absolute bargain this season. And when the fixtures Man City got to start the year, you can't go too far wrong, I don't think. Number 18, Brennan Johnson. Now, I'm still a bit flummoxed about why they bought in Kudos and why Kudos is so much more popular than Brennan Johnson. This dude's stats absolutely eat Kudos' stats alive. He's only owned by 3.6%. Kudos is owned by a quarter of all managers. For 0.5 million less, is he going to give you more than Brennan Johnson? I don't think so. Brennan Johnson, 24 starts last year, 11 goals, 6 assists. His XG numbers, I think, are almost double of what Kudos's are. 0.45, 0.08 expected assists there per 90 as well. I just think with that Spurs run to open the season, if they are going to start well and they're not just a rubbish team, and I talked to a Spurs fan today and he said that they're rubbish still, and he's concerned about the season that they're going to have with Maddison going out as well. But I think Maddison being injured and being out is probably good for Brennan Johnson and his minutes. So I think he's just a really good pick. I don't know why you wouldn't pay up an extra 0.5 for him over a Kudos, and I really like him as a very good differential there into that Spurs team for the early part of the season. And then we got Mateta. Now, Mateta's been way overlooked, 7.5 million. Lots of people got João Pedro and Wood and all these, but I think Mateta's better than all those picks. He's almost guaranteed a lot more minutes. The XG and XA numbers per 90 are very similar. He did get 14 goals last year and 2 assists, and he obviously did have that injury that sort of curtailed the end of his season. I think that's what a lot of people are holding on to, but he's looked really good in preseason, and we get another look today in the Community Shield later after this video comes out. So again, someone to monitor. If he gets another goal there, I don't see any reason to not sort of back him in for another big haul of points this season. And then on to my boy. And look, I actually had Phil Foden much higher in this list. I had him in the top 6 players for this thing, but I've dropped him down to 16. And that is because of the fact that he wasn't fit enough to travel to Italy for Manchester City's pre-season game of Palmeiras. Palmero. I knew I'd got that one wrong. 3.1% ownership. Now, he is currently in my draft, and anyone that's watched my draft videos, well, I've actually only put one out, so you probably wouldn't know. But if you join me on the live stream, Phil Foden's still on my team, and I really want to give him up until when we hear Pep's news conference, probably on Friday next week. So it's still Sunday at the moment. But this man he's got the explosion potential. And if he does get back to that form of what we saw prior to last season, and that 5-week stretch that I had him for last season, where he pretty much got his 7 goals and 3 assists in that 5 games, he's going to be an incredible asset. He's going to play a lot more than 20 games this year. That is my guess. And I dare say he's going to be well over. I reckon he'll be pushing 150 points this year. I think we will see the return of Phil Foden in a World Cup year. I think hopefully he's got himself right. I mean, the numbers he literally averages a goal involvement 1 every 2 games. Like, he's phenomenal. Like, it's just brilliant. There's not much more to say. The card loves him, and I love him, and hopefully he is fit because then he stays in my team. But I love him. Great pick there. And look, I'm a Man United fan. I just think Phil Foden's great. Eze comes in at number 15. He does have that slightly higher price point, and we don't know whether he's going to go to Arsenal still. There's still rumours about that Arsenal could be interested in him. So again, that's something that we do need to monitor. So for that reason, I think that he is someone, he's very close to 10% ownership as well, 9.1%. So he is getting a little bit of love amongst managers. Again, when he's on form, he can get monster hauls. He can get the 15 pointers. So 31 starts last year, 8 goals, 8 assists. Again, the numbers are pretty good underlying. He literally averages a goal involvement as well, 1 every 2 games. So again, and his defensive contribution, 7.09, nothing to sniff about, but he's realistically not going to be getting much of that any given game week. So coming in at number 14, and this guy has come from the stars the last bit, and this is mainly because of the fact that James Maddison is out with an ACL. And at the moment, Spurs haven't signed another number 10, and Papa Maya Sarr, I think I've got his name right there, has been starting all the preseason games and has looked phenomenal. He's actually scored 3 goals in preseason for Spurs. Will he do that? That's actually all the goals he scored in the whole league last season from his 22 starts. So I just want to talk about a few things with him. 2.2% ownership. He did get, as I said, only started almost just over half the games. Again, Spurs were very focused on the Europa League, et cetera, and they just tanked the league pretty much at the end of last season. 3 goals, 2 assists. Now, his underlying numbers from an attacking perspective are not the best, 0.17 but 0.04. But he did sit deeper in Ange Postecoglou's Tottenham. It looks like, at the moment, under Frank, he is pushing further forward. So those numbers we should expect to improve. Then DC, he's a DC monster, 10.79 per 90 on average. So he will hit that extra 2 points if that's your cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea, but if you're interested about that kind of stuff, he's also good for that. And at 5 million, what an enabler. This dude could be absolute gold dust at 5 million. I think he's such a good asset. Then we got John Arias. So he played at the Club World Cup. He also played in Serie A last season, which is where his stats are from. So 12 starts in Serie A last year, 1 goal, 4 assists. He had 3 clean sheets as well. His XG was quite low at 0.12 per 90, but he had an XA of 0.39 per 90. He's very creative. This is a dude, hopefully, that's going to be feeding Jorgen Strand-Larsen, provided he stays at Wolves, obviously. And again, 1.2% ownership. And what people are forgetting, outside of the Man City and Newcastle games and game weeks 1 and 4, John Arias and Wolves have an amazing run of fixtures for pretty much the first 10 game weeks of the season. So, yes, he might want to bench him game week 1, but he is definitely an enabler at 5.5 mil. And for that reason, I think that he should be being considered a lot more than what people are giving him credit for at the moment. And I think it is the game week 1 fixture that's potentially putting people off. So, number 12 is Semenyo. Now, Justin Kluivert just hasn't looked that good I don't think he's barely been cited in preseason. So for that reason, he's not really an option. And I think that if that Liverpool game did not exist in game week 1, Semenyo, Evanilson, and other assets would be significantly more popular amongst FPL managers, including myself. At the moment, I'm still weighing up whether it's worth getting one or just transferring in one for game week 2. That's the quandary I'm in at the moment. 5% ownership, so there is some love for Semenyo out there. 36 starts last year, 11 goals, 7 assists. He also had 11 clean sheets, which I thought was interesting as well. He's not amazing for defense DC points, 7.5 there per 90 on average. But 0.27, 0.12, you add that up, that's 0.39. That's almost a goal contribution, assist or goal every 3 games. So again, for that kind of price point, it is pretty juicy. Then we've got Cody Gakpo. Gakpo. He looks nailed because of the fact that they've sold Diaz, and normally that's where he rotated last season. I'm surprised he's only 5.6% ownership. Wirtz and Salah getting all the love in the Liverpool midfield. This is a dude, though, that's been getting it done in preseason. He's been getting a lot more minutes as well. And I think to begin the season, he's almost nailed. Slot loves him. I don't know what it is about him that Slot loves. Maybe it's because of the fact he's Dutch. I'm not really too sure, but that's brilliant. And look, for a fact, literally for half the price of Mo Salah, you can have Cody Gakpo. 23 starts last year for 10 goals, 5 assists. He also had the 5 clean sheets, which he'll get this season as well, because obviously he's a midfielder and not a forward. He'll get the extra point for those goals as well. If he continues that rate and he plays more closer to 38 games, he's going to be huge. 0.33 expected goals per 90, 0.18 expected assists per 90. Again, he's got a goal contribution pretty much over 1 every 2 games, which is pretty damn good for 7.5 million. Yes, he's not going to cover your Salah or your Wirtz or whatever. He might actually do better than Wirtz. We're not sure. He does have a lot of goal threat. I think that Cody Gakpo is the one, and I can tell you, that's why he's in my team at the moment instead of Wirtz and instead of Salah. I do want a Liverpool attacker, but I just can't justify spending up for an untried asset in the Premier League and one that I think is significantly overpriced and about to drop off a cliff. Coming in at number 10, it is Nicholas Füllkrug from West Ham. 6 million, only 2.4% ownership. He is someone that I'm actively thinking about whether I get in my team. There is a world where I could potentially have Füllkrug, Bowen, Watkins instead of having Strand Larsen. Or I could have Füllkrug, get rid of Bowen, Watkins, and Haaland. Potentially, I could bring Haaland into the team. Let's have a look at last season. He wasn't overly good last season because he was injured for the majority of it, and I don't think the change of managers helped him either. 6 starts, 3 goals, 2 assists. So it was pretty good when I suppose he was on the field because he didn't have that many minutes. 0.25 expected goals per 90, though, is low for a forward, and the assist, you don't really worry. They're not there for the assist. They're there to score goals. He has been scoring goals in preseason. That is the good news. So potentially he is an option. Then we got Daniel Munoz. Now, lots of people have got Pedro Porro on their team. Munoz is the same price as Pedro Porro. He's only in 8.4% of teams. Yes, the fixtures are fairly rough for the first 6. They're up and down. You've got Chelsea away, Aston Villa away, and Liverpool at home. But we've seen Daniel Munoz last season. He plays every single game. 37 starts, 4 goals, 6 assists, 11 clean sheets. He racked up the points last year. 0.14 expected goals per 90 as a defender is unbelievable. And expected assist again at 0.1. His DC 7.44. So he's going to hit that extra 2 DC points occasionally as well. I just think that if you're looking at Pedro Porro versus Daniel Munoz, I'm going Daniel Munoz every single day of the week. I couldn't care what the fixture is. I think he's going to be a lot better. He plays literally as a right winger, as a defender in FPL. I just think he's being absurdly overlooked when people are picking the likes of Van der Ven and Pedro Porro and whoever else from Tottenham. Why you would pick someone from there and not Daniel Munoz instead at the same price point is beyond my understanding. Then we've got 2 absolutely criminally underrated gems coming in at number 8 and number 7. Now, yes, people say Brentford have had a traumatic summer. The Whistles still wants to go to Newcastle. They haven't signed anyone to replace Mbeumo yet, even though there is works on they're trying to get Dango Otara from Bournemouth, who could be an amazing signing if he goes to Brentford because he could become the next Mbeumo, and he's also stupidly cheap at 5 mil. But we need to see how that develops first. Collins is now the captain. The dude played every game last season. In the preseason, he's already scored since being named captain. He's already got an assist as well. This dude gets attacking contributions, but he also averages 9.24 DC contributions per 90. He is the DC. He's the man that is part of the Justice League. He is the DC monster from Brentford. obviously, I think realistically, they do have a couple of issues in and around the team. They do seem to have quite a few injuries as well. Keller, we don't know, is going to be fit either. But he is a Mr. Constant. He's always there. He's always reliable. He plays every game. He literally plays every single minute of every game. I just love him. I did want to put him higher, but because he's 5 million, not 4.5, it's the only reason why he's not higher than number 8. Then we got Juve. He is an unknown quantity, but if you've been watching West Ham in pre-season, they are playing with wing-backs. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is right wing-back, Juve on the left wing-back, and this dude looks like absolute dynamite out there on the left wing. 0.3 expected goals per 90 in the, I think it was the Czech league that he played in last year. 0.21 assists per 90. Expected assists, sorry. Incredible stuff. 15 clean sheets. Obviously, he played for a pretty good team. He did get 7 goals and 2 assists from 23 starts. The man scored goals. And goals, as we know in FPL, from a defender, if you keep a clean sheet, that's a 15-pointer. I don't give a toss about your DC points. I want defenders that are going to get me attacking returns. I want goals. I want assists. I want fun. I don't want to be sitting there counting with my fingers. Oh, was that a clearance? Was that a tackle? Was that an interception? Was it a block? I don't know. Is that going to be counted? I don't know. That's a goal, though. That went over the line. That's a goal, baby. That's what I want to see. So, Juve, I love him. I think he's going to be great. He's in my team. I actually ditched Wan-Bissaka because I think Juve is going to be a significantly higher performing attacking wing-back than what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. Just based on what I've seen in West Ham pre-season. I did watch their whole game against Man United, and he looked good. So that's all I'll say. He looked good. I'm thinking that he's just going to be rolling out for the D-Units team. Game week 1, he's pretty much a lock at this point. So coming in at number 6 and number 5 are 2 forwards that potentially have been massively overlooked. And I'm not sure why they've been overlooked, but look, they are really good assets. And I think you couldn't go too far wrong with them. Again, I think it is the game week 1 fixtures that are putting people off with these 2 particular assets. Evanlinson, I don't know what there is to not like about this man. In his opening debut season in the Premier League, he started 28 times. He did have a couple of injuries. 10 goals, 5 assists, and none of them were penalties. He doesn't take penalties because Clive was always on the field when he took them. 11 clean sheets. I know that's not relevant for forwards, but I just wanted to show that potentially when he's on the field, Bournemouth are probably much better defensively because I think he was present for every one of their clean sheets this season. So maybe he presses really well, but judging from his DC per 90, he doesn't because he only got 4.16. But XG per 90, expected XG per 90 is 0.48, 0.07 assists. So he's actually quite a creative forward because most forwards sit between the 0.02 to 0.04 expected assists per 90. Again, 2.5% ownership. He was criminally overlooked last year. He went massive on a lot of games. I just think he's going to be better in season 2 for Bournemouth. And Bournemouth haven't lost any midfielders, any attacking players so far. They might lose Dango Otara to Brentford. But other than that, the rest are the same. I can't see any reason why he won't continue to bang in the goals and probably get even better in season 2. Then we got Jorgen Strand-Larsen, who currently sits in my own team as that cheap forward, cheap enabler. 5.8% ownership, so a bit more love for him. Again, his debut season, 30 starts, 14 goals, 4 assists. I don't know what to say. He was so cheap last year. He's obviously gone up in price this year, a bit like Evanlinson. But they're just so good. For what they offer, you don't have to worry about them getting subbed because there's no other forward that takes their spot. So the guaranteed minutes, the guaranteed starts, and they're scoring the goals. And I think in Jorgen Strand-Larsen's case, he's going to become the talisman along with John Arias. So I think overlook him at your own peril is what I'm saying. I think he's great. He's in my team. Again, there is a world where potentially it could be Jorgen Strand-Larsen or Evanlinson. It's going to be one of the 2, I think, in that third forward slot. I think just writing off the third forward slot as like a Mark Gihey, it makes no sense. People are working out whether it's better to just dump a cheap defender or dump a cheap forward spot. Jorgen Strand-Larsen is going to outscore most of those DC defenders. I can put money on it straight off the bat. And you're going to enjoy watching it a lot more as well. So just keep that in mind. These 2, I think they're being criminally overrated. Underrated, I meant. So on to the next 2. And look, if it wasn't because of the fact I'm a Man United fan, Amab would be in the top 2. But because I'm a Man United fan, I didn't want people to think I'm biased. He is coming in at number 3. We're going to talk about number 4 first. So both of these 2, everyone's been raving on about the Ndiayes, they're killing everyone off inside. The Kuduses that are, I don't know what they're thinking with that. But these 2 Unloved assets. You guys tell me why these two are not getting the deserved attention that the likes of Ndiaye and Kudos are. Tell me how those two players are better than these two. Just tell me. Tell me from the stats. Tell me from what they produced last year. And tell me that I'm wrong. Because I don't think I am. I think you need to go back if you've got Ndiaye and Kudos and probably swap them out to one of these two if you want a 6.5 million price point. Sarr, 30 starts last year, 8 goals, 7 assists. He also kept 10 clean sheets. He's not horrible for DC points, but he's not going to be getting them any given week. He averages 0.59 goal involvement per 90. So every 3 games, he's pretty much getting 2 returns, or just over every 3 games. For what it is, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. Yes, the start is hard, but Sarr has shown that he shows up in big games. He shows up in big games. Count him off at your own peril. That's all I'm going to say about that. Then we've got Amad Diallo. And look, I love Amad. I think he is an absolute baller. Again, how is he only 3.6% owned? There is a world where I've actively sat there in my draft, and if Phil Foden doesn't look nailed, Phil Foden could well become one of these two. Or he could drop down to someone else that we're going to cover very, very shortly. But Amad is just brilliant. I think, like, we're just watching from 20 starts last year, and most of them were at right wing back. He scored a hat-trick at right wing back against Southampton last season and got me 20 points. 8 goals, 8 assists, 7 clean sheets, 0.22 expected goals expected per 90, 0.19 expected assists per 90. Now that he's got Mbeumo in front of him, now he's got Cunha in front of him, now he's got Šeško in front of him, Amad is going to just see his numbers jump. I could put money on it straight off the bat. Also, his defensive contributions per 90, DC points, 8.35, could well increase this year in Amarin's system. They love to press high up the field. I think that Amad could be pushing that 12 mark fairly regularly if he's on the pitch for the full 90 minutes. Again, Man United's fixtures might be putting people off, but Amad delivered against the big teams last year. He scored at Anfield. He scored at Manchester City. He is a name that you don't have to worry about going missing in big games. He's almost fixture-proof, a bit like Bruno, and for that reason, I just love him. He can consider himself very unlucky that he didn't finish inside the top 2. But someone that had to be put into number 2, and he was, ironically, at number 4 yesterday, and Amad was actually here. It's Reindeers, or Reinders. I think it's actually pronounced Reinders, but I'm going to call him Reindeers because that just sounds so much better. He's got his antlers on and he's pulling the sleigh of all the FPL bandwagon, the big boys who hadn't actually discussed him. If you go back and look at my midfielders video and a couple of differential videos, I've actually already covered Reindeers saying that he is a really good asset. His stats last year in Serie A for, I think it was AC Milan, 30 starts, 10 goals, 4 assists, 13 clean sheets. He had an expected goals per 90 of 0.36, expected assists per 90 of 0.21. Again, that's an attacking return every 2 games. I don't care what defensive contributions are telling you. This dude is better than Anderson. He's going to score more points than Anderson. Yes, he might get pepper-laden and you might be annoyed by that, but that is why you got a good bench. That's why you have a good bench in FPL, and that's why I have a good bench. I'm strongly considering if Foden is not up and available for next weekend that he will become Reindeers. The Man City fixture run to begin the season looks really good. And if I drop Foden to Reindeers, there is a world where I can then bring Haaland into my forward line for a Watkins or a Bowen and we roll from there. I think he's just a great option. And then we've got I couldn't not leave this guy couldn't not be number 1. Let's be honest. We all know how much I said last year, and I went out on a limb and I said this dude will outscore Gabriel comfortably. And he did. He got 2 more goals than Gabriel. I think he got 1 more. I don't know how many assists Gabriel got. I don't know off the top of my head. It was either 1 or 2, but he even matched him or whatever. Smashed him for clean sheets. 13 clean sheets. Gabriel, see you later. 9.2%. How is Gabriel owned by more people with the fixture run that Arsenal have to begin the season, and Nottingham Forest have the same kind of fixture run that they did at the start of last season, and we've already seen in 7 games in pre-season, guess what? Nottingham Forest have kept 5 clean sheets from those 7 games. That is what they do. Yes, you might be put off by picking up a forward because they haven't been scoring goals. I wouldn't be going near Wood, and I said that yesterday in my video about players I think that are overhyped and overrated. Milinkovic is massively underrated. 37 starts. The dude does not miss games of football. 0.1 expected goals per 90. 0.02 expected assists. DC 8.37. He's up there with Collins, not quite as high as Collins. He's probably the Robin to his Batman. But Milinkovic is a beast. And look, honestly, if there's one player that I want to pay up for in defense, it's Milinkovic. What an absolute beast. I think he'll go close to being the top scoring defender in the game this season without any doubt at all. And I've really got to consider whether I bring him into my team. So what did you think of my top 20 players that I'm considering for my own team that are differentials? Look, if anyone knows my team, the only two players that I've got that have high ownership, which is over 20% ownership, is one Cole Palmer and one Kelleher. Everyone else that I own in my team is under 20% or just on the 20% margin at the moment. I'm all about the differentials. I play aggressive football. I hate the template, especially some of the picks that are getting thrown up there this year. Hopefully you're of the similar mind. If you are, smash a like on the video, leave me a comment, and make sure, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, join the league code, join the WhatsApp group. There's a link in the description. I'll also smash it in the comments. I'll see you again. We've got 4 more videos before the game week 1 deadline. It's exciting. It's exciting. And guess what? We are bringing back the live Saturday watch-alongs. Baby, they're going to be good. Make sure you tune in for them. I'm going to be getting guests on every single week to watch it along with me. So it's going to be very exciting times. With that being said, I'll catch you again soon. Good night.